No, 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 no. No, 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 no. I buy faulty electronic items, attempt to fix them and sell them for a profit to make a little bit of cash. Welcome your glorious faces back to episode number 11 of the series called Profit or Loss. This episode is actually a continuation of a small job lot that I purchased for £250. In today's episode, we're looking at another PlayStation 5 that was part of that job lot that cost £100. Are we able to fix this one and make a nice little profit like we did with the other PlayStation 5 from the same bundle? If so, we're definitely going to be quids in. I still haven't sold on auction the PS5 from the last episode, so there's no point in showing you an updated spreadsheet. We'll do that at the end of the video. Sit back, enjoy, and hopefully relax whilst I test my mental strength with this PlayStation 5. New glove day. We are looking at this wonderful PlayStation 5. It is a digital edition, okay? Which is, I mean, still, if you're paying £100 for a PS5, it's still really, really good. Condition-wise, it looks okay, if you ask me. Oh, who can tell me what they think the issue is with this console? I think something's missing here. Am I excited to look at this one? Probably not, because when there's a missing port, it usually means rip traces. So we'll see. As always, let's just quickly turn the console on. I went to plug in the HDMI cable there. I just want to make sure that it definitely goes to a white light. We do have a little bit of dust build up down here. We were all wrong. It doesn't power on. We've all been bamboozled. Let me just read an email real quick. In the original query that I got for this, it states, this one is missing the HDMI and the transformer. Now, it's definitely got a power supply in, so I'm not too sure what they're talking about when they say transformer, but I'll double check. I'll take it apart and see what's going on. But this one could probably get very, very interesting. I thought this had no display. Let's have a look. This was in the bundle of £250 that I spent on some faulty devices from a viewer. That's not the right screw. This screw it's meant to be a smaller one that goes here. It's meant to be a much smaller one. So we can take out the fan now. Like I said, it's quite dusty. I don't know why it's got no power. What I'm going to do, because when I looked at an Xbox One S, it was from the same person. One of the power bricks was actually disconnected. So what seemed to be a no power pretty much straight away was actually a power supply that wasn't connected to the board. I wonder if we're going to have the same thing here, whereby they've disconnected maybe the front ribbon cable just here, or we have a bad power supply and they maybe forgot to test before sending it. That's also another wrong screw there. Do you ever do PSU repairs? I avoid them because I don't trust myself. Okay, so this is now a little bit more worrying than I thought, because that is in. One is assuming that the power supply is okay. That ribbon looks chewed, so this can't be the case. I'm just going to disconnect that because I did a video disconnecting this LED cable and then it working. That's for a beep on, beep off though. I'm also not getting any beep, so I'm not going to just put it down to that, but I'm pretty sure that is very beaten up, that ribbon cable. So I'll be very, very surprised if that does work. So let's just take all of this off. I haven't got the feeling in my fingertips, and if you're a technician doing electronic repair tech especially, you'll know the feeling that I'm talking about, where you're used to what things feel like. And when you put on new gloves, that feeling goes. So this is a digital version, which means that we don't actually have to rely on a disk drive pairing, which is nice. And if we do have a BIOS issue, then what that means is that we can just put a different version of the BIOS on here to fix that, and a different chip. I didn't expect this to have no power. This might be a HDMI issue that's so bad that it's causing the no power. That can happen as well. I don't like the look of that. Alright. Okay, do we get 12 Vs or do we have a bad power supply? 12 volts. We have a bad power supply. Or we have a short on the 12 volt rail, which on its own is never good. How's the liquid metal situation? Liquid metal situation is okay. We have got rip pads. I'll show you that in a bit more detail in a second. Let's just check this power supply, because now we can actually test the pins of the power supply without it being connected to the board. I heard a crackle. No, we have a dead power supply. The power supply is gone. And I think it's probably going to be only right that I change out this power supply now to make sure that this is good, because what I need to see is I need to see the console go to a white light. There's no point in me working on the HDMI port and the HDMI circuit if in fact the console doesn't turn on in the first place, and we can't resolve that issue first. So I'm going to swap out the power supply and then we'll test to make sure that we get a white light on this console. Oh. Okay, and then, all right. So this is a dud power supply that somebody has put into this console. Now, it wasn't Michael. I've spoken to Michael, and I know it sounds silly, but I can tell he's a good guy, and I know he wouldn't do this. But this wasn't even screwed down into the chassis. Michael bought these consoles faulty from somebody and hasn't worked on them. So the person that Michael bought these from has simply just put in a bad power supply and sold it to Michael, and Michael's basically been scammed. That is not good. Right, let's just make sure that, again, we've got 12 volts on this one. Yes, so I've got 12 volts on this power supply. So what we should see, now I'm a little bit cautious because I don't want to go ahead and try and power this on to then find out that actually it's going to kill this power supply. But I do think it's more so a case that somebody just put a faulty power supply in this and saved the good one that was in this console for something else. However, I will do my due diligence and just quickly check over the board to see if we have any shorts on the board itself. I think that's going to be a sensible thing to do. Right, let's just go over to the HDMI port and see what the damage is like over here. Now, they have... I don't know if they've put a new retimer on. Is that a bridge? Wait there. No, I think that's just flux. Yeah, it's just flux. I don't think this has been changed. This happened in the other PS5 as well. Yeah, I don't think that's been changed. The port itself, just check the filters. Filters are okay. Go to the port itself. Wow. Wow, 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 wow. Okay, so we're missing a couple of important traces here, all of which can actually be soldered onto directly after we've put the port on. What do I mean by that? So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. I believe one of these is a ground trace. I don't know why one of these is a ground trace, but it's not connected to here. Instead, it goes off to one of these. It might be ground, or it might actually do something when it's activated. I'm not sure, but I'm fairly confident enough actually to say that 4 of these traces are pretty important, so they all need to get soldered. But I'm going to clear everything up and then drop the... I'll tin everything, drop the port on, and then just tin some wire to the specific pins of the port. This diode doesn't look healthy, so I'm probably going to change that out. It looks actually like it's been dispatched, so I'm probably going to change this out. This all needs a very, very good clean as well. You've got big clumps of hair and flux here. Check to make sure we don't have any shorts on the power rails. I'm just going to go into continuity mode real quick to make sure we got no shorts to ground. So again, here's the 12, and you should see, yeah, open line. And then if we go to the other side of the board quick, you'll be able to measure our 5 and our 3.3 as well, and that will do me for the time being. That's fine. And then our 3.3, I believe, is this rail here. Open line as well. That's fine. There we go. The stuff that's burnt there, I'm not going to be able to sort. That is too far gone, unfortunately. But that looks a bit better already. And we've got all of this stuff around here as well on the back of the HDMI circuit. Let's plug it in. Do we get a white light? Please. Okay. Took a long time there. Oh, we do have a white light, which is really, really good. But that's going to be... It's probably going to be rebuilding system storage or something now, because that went to white light very quickly. That 3 beeps is usually overheating. First things first, we need to get the HDMI sorted, because I know that at least now it turns on, it doesn't have a short somewhere else. So what I can do is focus my attention around the HDMI port and see what kind of image we get on the screen. I'm going to take my solder sucker and clear these ground holes, because again, I don't know what solder somebody else has potentially used here. So we're going to go 480 degrees Celsius, 99% on the old airflow. Now, unfortunately, this board has taken a beating, so it does reduce the chances of fixing, but we'll try our hardest regardless. Fume extractor on, because health is wealth. Now come in with some flux. At least on this one, the ground holes are all present. So let's fill in those ground holes. And now, just go over these traces and make sure they're all tinned nicely. Which they are, by the looks of it. And again, whilst the board is hot, microfiber cloth and some IPA. I'm just going to slowly give it a little scrub. Anything comes off here, it's not fit for purpose, is the way I see it, because I want things to be solidly on this board rather than hanging on for dear life, you know. That diode will definitely need to be changed. But again, just a little clean up, and it looks 10 times better already, you know. It's going to be annoying because I'm not very good at trace repair anyway. So trying to do this is going to be hard. But for me personally, you know, there's a lot of other people out there who are very competent that would find this quite easy. So we're going to drop the port on now and hopefully be able to get this repaired. Do what we did the other day. Just simply tin the port. Nice. That's the flux. Now, as well as the fact, I don't know whether to try and put the cap on now or whether we come back to that in a minute. I'm going to do the cap now. We'll see how we get on. It could be the wrong thing to do, but we'll see. Everyone has a different preferences, so my thought process is that it will be easier and I won't melt any plastic, etc. if I do it now. That's the thought process. There we go. Let's actually go with the port drop here now as well. 2 birds, 1 stone, all that good stuff. We're going to hold that heat in place, and hopefully it's going to go up the legs of the port. But the port itself needs to catch up with the heat, because if the port is cold, the solder isn't going to travel up the legs. That's why we need to hold the solder on for a little bit. Hold the heat on for a little bit, so that solder gets a chance to go up the legs. And if I can't really see it going up the legs, what I like to do is grab a little bit of solder and try and put it on the legs, moving that heat around so I don't keep it stagnant, because if I keep the heat stagnant right now, it's going to damage the board even more, and we don't want that. And then we got one more. There we go. And now we just need to make sure that the port is in a good enough position. It's going to be hard for me to see right now, but I'm going to go with about there. Wait for it to solidify. I'm looking at the corners, the legs specifically. There we go. That solder's now solid. Come off the heat. Cotton swabs at the ready. Whilst it's nice and hot, give it all a clean. Now obviously right now it's not going to look great. The board still looks burnt to a crisp, but we're doing what we can. Port's in place, look at that, perfectly. The port's really nicely in place. Everything's soldered down exactly where it needs to be soldered down, so that's a really good job. Look at the legs. This is why I like to add the solder afterwards, just to be safe. Sometimes if I need to. If I can't see that solder climbing the legs, I'll add it in. And then it's got a chance to bond with the other side. You see this side as well? Really nice. I wasn't able to achieve that on the last HDMI port I did with the PS5 because we didn't have any ground legs. Ground holes, sorry, essentially. So what I'm going to do now, before I start doing all the trace work, is replace the diode. I'm just trying to think. It's probably going to be best to do it this way, even though it's going to be a little bit awkward with the hot air. Probably going to be the best way to do it. That was ready to come off, wasn't it? That said, I am ready now. My time has come. I'm ready to be free. Actually, I might solder this on so I don't have to hot air and risk burning the plastic. So I'll just tin that side and I'll leave that side flat. That's all it needed. Right, we're looking good. The board looks toast. Factually true. The board does look toast. Good enough visions to work with that. We put the cap back. We got the new diode. It's looking nice. I haven't checked the back of the board yet. Have we got what we need on the back? I'll be surprised if we do. We do. We've got the caps. Those solder blobs are actually okay, believe it or not. What I will do real quick. I know I'm going to be introducing more flux and solder to this anyway. I am just going to melt some of this and give it a nice quick clean without the port falling out, because I've done that before. I see a lot of people use heat to assist them sorting these ground legs out for the other side of the board. I can't do that because I put it too high and usually the port drops out. We've got quite a bit of flux around the HDMI encoder as well, so I'm going to get rid of that. Just try and keep stuff like as clean as I possibly can, you know. Clean as you go, and then at the end, it's not too bad. Okay, so now we just need to focus on the actual trace repair. I just now need to figure out what wire I'm going to use. Is this too thick? Actually, do you know what? I think this one's going to be okay. I think that one's going to be all right. No, I mean, look, if I'm soldering to the traces, look, no, I can't use that. I'm going to have to use thinner. Also this size. Yeah, that's better. Right, first one's first. Should we go left to right? I think so. I decided just to skip through this and make it a little bit faster because it can be a little bit repetitive. As much as I've done some soldering, I've not really had to do a lot of trace repair. And the thing is, if you don't practice, you're not going to get better at something. Okay, how are we looking? I think we're going to be okay. Right, little clean. All the wires survived. That is what we like to see. Can you see how the wires survived? Lovely. Right, I'm going to hold it up again. Just check to make sure that we've got continuity and that the traces are okay. So we're actually going to go a little bit closer right now. They're all definitely soldered. Could they be stronger? Absolutely. Okay, that's good. That's good. That's good. And that's good. Solder mask time, exactly that, guys. Yep, you're right. Make sure we're as dry as we can be. I think that's probably going to be our best bet. And now, unfortunately, solder mask time. I'm just thinking, can I get a little bit more solder on those? If I go ahead and try to put... I mean, they're all on because I've moved the pins rather than the wire. If I now go and try to put more on, it might ruin it. It's just if this port does take a shunt back or something, then obviously if those connections loose, they're going to come off. But, I mean, the port shouldn't take a shunt in the first place. Solder mask now... just to make sure. This isn't added for strength, by the way. A lot of people think that it's added for strength. It's more so added to make sure that we don't have any bridges. Just to make sure those wires don't wiggle around and short anything out. Let's see if this is cured. Right, let's put this back in the chassis and actually see if it works. I've not tested the pins, which is not the wisest thing to do, but sometimes you have to live on the edge. Let's see if this works. So it's not going to work the first time regardless. We're going to have to wait. But first off, we need to make sure this goes to a white light and stays a white light. So it does go to a white light. Let's see if it's repairing the storage or anything like that. Should work now. Still nothing. The reason why it might be nothing though is because this might need to do a quick reset. If I hear 3 beeps here and it turns off, I will be worried. But it's just staying on a white light. It's not actually doing anything, which is also worrying because this should be doing something. It's got a new power supply. So it should be like that white light is too quick and still nothing on the display. I'm going to try and turn it off. I do get 1 beep. Do I get 2 beeps? Do you know what? I think it's going into safe mode. Watch. Blue light. That's better. Hold on. Now it's slow pulsing. Now it's a white light. That took a longer, which is good. And that sounds silly. Now it's a blue light. There we go. That's what we want. Now it's probably going to be repairing storage. And I'm going to wait to hear 3 beeps here. There's 3 beeps. And now we have a white light. So now it should display an image. It should have displayed an image before, but maybe it was stuck. So do we get something? Have we fixed this or not? So we're still not getting a display here. But that was more of a normal boot. Not working. So I need to turn this off now. And we need to investigate and see what's going on. There might be a break in the circuit somewhere, or it could be even the HDMI IC, could be anything, could be Y09. Let's hope not. Going to make sure that there's no flux on the HDMI port. No, there's, from what I can tell on the outside, there is nothing. It's not even remotely sticky. Okay, let's have a look. 0.64, good. 18, 0.49, that's okay. 0.63, that's okay. 6.3 here as well. Just open line, that's fine. Right, 6.5. 7.8. Oh, sorry, this one's right. Yeah, that's okay. 6.5, good. So that's 7.8. 7.8. These are data lines. 7.1. So that's 7. That's 7.8. These data lines should all be the same. 7.8. 7.1. 6.3. 6.4, 6.5. What? 7.9? These are all so different. They're not even like close. 7.8. That screams to me that it's the retimer. So maybe this port was changed and shouldn't have been. Let's just check this side of these filters. So look at that. 6.5, 6.7. Check this one. Wait, has that got a bridge? No, it just looks weird. So that one was 6.7. That was 7.8. Look at that. 6.7. 7.8, yeah, it's the retimer. And the retimer is this one, this Panasonic IC, this chip here, which is good because it means that the soldering job supposedly is okay because we get consistent readings on the actual HDMI port itself. We should just need to change this over and we might be golden. Hopefully, anyway. To get it off, we're not going to mess about. 480 degrees Celsius, airflow speed 99%. Drop air, 60%. Flux. Brief flow. Off heat, temp down 450, little squeeze on chip. Off heat, microfiber cloth, IPA toothbrush, microfiber cloth, and inspect. Good, a little bit lopsided, but all of those are connected. This side again, all connected. All connected, a little bit lopsided. All connected, a little bit lopsided, but all good. Didn't have to change out the solder there, just use the unleaded that was on the board already. And now we're just really quickly going to check these filters to see if those readings have changed. Check here. What do we have? 0.73 here. 0.73 here. 7.3. 7.3. 7.3. 7.3. 7.3. 7.3. Bingo. Right, let's test. 3, 2, 1. Power's on. Good. We haven't cooked it. Lovely jubbly. White light. Now, do we have a display? I don't think we do. Still no display. Well, this diode we changed. 6.3. Nothing there, so open line, so that's good. Nothing that way. Something that way. So that's okay. If we check the diode on the back, 0.49. Nothing. So that diode supposedly is okay. Is potentially maybe these little 2 diodes down here. Could be wrong, but I'm sure I've had diodes that have read something both ways. I'm sure that is a thing. Well, that seems to be okay. 6.3. What was this one? 6.3. So they're both 6.3. That doesn't read. And that doesn't read. Okay, so they only read one way. Let me check here. 4.9. I'm sure that's okay. 3.2 and 4.9. I'm sure that's what it's meant to be. I'm sure that's what it's meant to be. I've had that go bad twice, I think, that component. Let's try that. We get 5 volts because we meant to get a 5 volts continuation, but I'm pretty sure you're meant to get 5 volts after the machine has been turned on. So it might be one of those things where in standby we don't have 5 volts, but I'll need to check when the console is on itself. Let's ground that. Right, so what do we get after? Nothing. But again, the console isn't on. So what do we get here? We're meant to get 5. We do get 5. Let's turn the console on. So console's on. Do we get 5? We do. So we get our 5 volts out of this IC. So this rail's okay. As far as I'm aware, this rail's okay. And we got our 3.3 down there. Do we get our 3.3 the other side? Well, I think this drops down. Maybe does it drop down from, if I can recall? Yeah, 1.8. So we get 1.8 there, 3.3, 5.5. So we have all of our voltages present now. I think maybe what we do is we hook up the power supply, give it 12 volts standby, and measure around the retimer. Because I think for the time being, the HDMI port is actually okay. 0.8, I'm sure it's meant to be 0.8 there, so I think that's okay. That, was that ground? What's here? 3.3, and here? 1.8. So again, the voltages are coming through, as far as I'm aware. Sorry. 3.3 there as well. I test around the retimer for voltages, and everything seems to line up absolutely fine. I then move on to the HDMI port just to make sure I don't have any bridges on the port itself. And again, that seems to be absolutely fine. No bridges. Everything looks soldered. Again, just make sure that they're all moving with the pins, but I'm sure they were. Let's try the tester. Right, what do we have? Open line on 9, 20, 18, 17, 6 and 4. Right, let's take a picture, and I'm going to grab a known working board, which is a 010, and let's plug this one in. Well, that's definitely not right. Apparently, that's on a board that's working, by the way. This one apparently has a short on one of the lines, whereas the other one that we had, that we've done all the work to, supposedly doesn't have any shorts. Potentially a bad retimer that I put on. I mean, I did just take it from a box of spare parts, unless, wait a minute, I mean, I didn't test the other side of the filter. 7.8, 7.8, 7.8, 7.8, 7.8, 7.8, 7.8, 7.8. Again, I check all of the diode readings on the port, and they all come back a-okay. I'm going to replace the chip. Let's test it again. Was it the retimer that was faulty, and did we just get really unlucky? We're going to get to a white light, which is good. Again, a white light is a good indication that we've soldered okay and not caused ridiculous amounts of damage. There's the white light. What happens on the monitor? First time isn't going to work. Second time, is it going to work? No. So chances are that other retimer is okay, which we kind of knew because we were getting all of the readings anyway. No, UART's not going to work with this, guys, unfortunately. I wish it did. I wish UART was that powerful. The good thing is that even with the HDMI tester, it shows okay. So that replicates me actually putting a cable in. So I know that it's the actual port itself is okay, and it's something within the circuit that's wrong. It could be the APU. It could be the APU. There has been... I've had one before that I wasn't able to fix. I've had that. I've had a HDMI port that I wasn't able to fix. And no display. There's only one though. I've only had one. In the hundreds that I've done, I've only had one. Got to try and boil it down to like a resistor or just some like one faulty component now that's not necessarily directly where the port is, but more so. And again, I've tested on the actual pins, and the pins are getting the readings. Right, let's check some resistors. Resistance to here from ground, mega ohms, 12 mega ohms. On the donor, 30k. Again, just to check from ground to here, 16k. It's a power rail, 16.1k. And again here, 30k. 40k between the two. 32k. I mean, there's a little bit off there, right? It's negligible, and this is rising. Could that be enough to swing it though? What is it, like 20 ohms, 20k ohms difference? Could that be the issue? What measurement do we get now? 244. No, that is the same, because this is 20k lower. Do you remember? Yeah, it's 20k lower. And 36. 1736. What do we get here? 11 and 31. I feel like that's different. That's quite a big, significant difference in my opinion. But that chip is getting swapped. So we're looking for 183137. 183137. Ready? What? 0.0? 3. Slowly rising to 3.1. Is that meant to be 3.7? Well, these are both 3. 0.04. Same place on another board. 0.18. Again, soldered. Soldered. Right way. Yeah, pin 1 down there. I then just went on an absolute spree and decided to swap a few components around on the HDMI circuit. I was reaching for a lot here. A couple of different components replaced and stuff. I have doubts now. I have doubts. Sometimes I'm a pessimist and sometimes I'm optimistic. I'm so far in the pessimistic side right now, but we're going to try it anyway. I replaced the 2 resistors. I replaced the 5-volt one. I replaced Y09. I replaced that square chip and another resistor. Second time. No. We put it in safe mode. Right, there's safe mode. No, it still doesn't like safe mode. Still not getting a picture. Basically, to wrap it up, what we've done today is I've replaced a bunch of retimers. I've done the trace repair. All of the traces seem to be okay on the actual port itself. And we've tested that by putting a HDMI port tester in the other side, acting as a cable, and all the readings come out okay. 3 different retimers, technically, because the one that was originally on the board. I've changed a bunch of components out on the actual HDMI circuit. We still get a white light, but just no display. So I like to think I've done a good enough job of explaining exactly what happened there. This one's been an absolute roller coaster, but what I'm going to do now is just check over a few things before I completely write this one off, because even if it does take me, 4 hours of labor time, it still could be £150 worth of profit, which works out for a good hourly rate. That's really why I'm able to justify looking into this console for such a long time, because I only paid £100 for it. One more final swoop and then we'll call it quits. I've checked everything again, just off camera, and yeah, I can't see any reason as to why this wouldn't work. I'm getting all the readings. I've changed out, again, I'm not going to carry on repeating myself, but the retime has been changed 3 times. So the last ditch attempt here is to just solder the wires on, because maybe I'm only getting a connection when I push on the wires. That's about it, but they all seem to be moving with the pins themselves. But this here is a very last ditch sort of attempt. So I'm just warming up the board now, because it's been sat overnight. It's a little bit colder. I'm just going to come in with some flux here. Now the port is going to get quite fluxy, and I'm just going to have to hope to clean it. I don't like getting the board this fluxy, to be honest. And I'm just making sure there's enough solder on those pins now, which it definitely looks to be. IPA, brush, and there we go. Right, let's give this a try again. I've just tried it, and I still get no display. So this now makes 2 PS5s out of a lot that I've done that I haven't been able to fix that has no display. I wonder if they had the same issue. Now it could be internal board damage, because as you saw underneath, the port itself was not in great condition. There's a lot of burn marks around the board. So is there a potential that it could have maybe caused some bubbling inside the board? The potential of that is very, very slim. You have to do a lot of damage. It's a big shame to call it on this one. I did also try it on another TV with a completely different HDMI cable, same result, no picture, nothing showing, as well as the fact I even thought to maybe disconnect this ribbon cable that I thought had a little split in it to see if that was causing any interference, but that's also not worked. I'll probably take this on another live stream and just go a little bit more in depth with it to see if there's anything I can do. But I don't think I can hold up the episode for a few more days to try and figure out exactly what's going on with it. Let's head on over to Sally and I'll tell you exactly what I'm going to do with this console. So this one is a digital PS5, no eBay listing just yet. The cost was £100. Parts was still a port technically, so that's going to be £1. The estimated sale price for the time being is going to be £0. So what does that mean that I'm doing with this console? Well, like I said, I'm going to look at it in a live stream. Would I be able to get the £100 back with a bad power supply in here? Maybe, but I really want to see if I can get to the bottom of this, so it might mean butchering the board a little bit further. So I don't think by the end of that anyone's going to buy this anyway. Plus, in the grand scheme of things, the £100 is a lot cheaper than what I would spend 180, 170 on a different board. So if I was going to tank on one of these, it would be this one for £100. Estimated profit minus 101, unfortunately, and actual profit is going to be minus 101. Hours worked is about 3 hours in total, which gives us an hourly profit rate of minus £33 an hour. Lovely. And here's scores on the doors. The estimated is 153 in profit, and the actual is £74 in profit. I'm trying to think. What are the chances that it could be a BIOS issue? Yeah, I don't know about the BIOS. I'm just trying to think. Hot plug detect. Gotcha. That makes sense. Oh, wait. Oh. Okay, I've just knocked that off. Okay, it seems to be on. I could try it now. Maybe it was loose. I swear I went over it, but I'll try again. If that's loose, I'll be so happy. No. Why did I tempt myself like that, man? Deep down, 0.1% of me was like, come on, please. Just be a bodge job, soldering jobby job, Bob. I do have a breakout board that I can use. Numbering on this board is odd. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's why I kind of need a proper HDMI port tester. I think Phil sells them on his shop, doesn't he? I think maybe I should just buy one that Phil has. 17 is ground. 17 is ground. So what's 17 on here? 17 is open line. So 17 17 should be ground. Not that that necessarily... wait, if open line is then... I don't know. Wait a minute. I'm so confused. Wait a minute. Let's zoom in here. 17 is ground for the 5 volts. So 17 is ground, is it? Let's check that on the actual port. 19, 18, 17. Oh, 17 is ground, yeah. Yeah, 17 is coming up as ground. I don't know why it doesn't come up ground on the tester. Let me put this tester in the working board, and then I'll see if 17 is ground on here. Because maybe the port is dud. No, it's not. Okay, so that is just not pin 17. That's why this tester is so bad. It's just not 17, is it? If I go continuity mode, and I go pin 17, which is on this side of the cap, and here, we don't get a beep. To ground, obviously we get a beep. Where is pin 17 then? What even? Wait. What? That is pin 17. But why is there 9 ohms? Cold solder joint on the adapter? No, it doesn't look like it. I mean, it looks okay. That's 17. Check the back of the south bridge as well. Wonder where that U7 is. Whoa. What do we have here? Or should I say, what don't we have here? Sweet. I thought I'm just going to check the back of the APU. I'm just having another quick check. That doesn't really look factory to me, you know. Okay. All right. Well, that shouldn't happen, should it? And I said this, right, in the stream and on video. I put it down to APU when I couldn't get the stuff working before. And this makes complete sense. So that cap's come off as well. Now, call me crazy. I know these are probably little bypass caps. But I tell you what, if there was some sort of hope that I could have from these, it's this. The fact that I've managed to find something whereby these aren't soldered on correctly gives me that hope, guys. I'm going to hold on to that hope, okay? I think rightfully so as well, if that's okay with you. Because if there's a chance that this isn't displaying because of this fault, and I can maybe direct people that when they have this fault in the future to go to these particular sort of caps on the APU, that would be amazing, right? So I'm just going to hold on to that little bit of hope. What this screams to me as well is that what are the chances that there's other components missing that I've just seen that small, tiny little cap? That's the bigger question here. All right, the console's on. Let's check. No, man. I really thought that might have been it. So if I go pin 17 here and on the board, 17 ohms. Why is that 17 ohms difference? There's an issue there, right? If I go here, 18 is on the dot. 15, I don't get a continuous path. I think it's a faulty port. What are the chances, man? It won't look it, and there's going to be flux at the back because I had to put the flux down. It won't look it because it's pretty much brand new, but I think the port's faulty. How is it faulty, though? Sometimes they can just develop internal... I don't know if it's internal shorts or what, but no, I haven't cleaned the breakout board. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll compare it. So wait there. I'll get another board. Okay, here we go. So I'm going to pin 19. So this is a donor board, right? So pin 19 goes to pin 19. This way it will determine whether it's a bad port or not. 19 goes to 19. 18 goes to 18. 17 goes to 17. But, wait a minute. See, it's 15 ohms. So that's pretty much the same. 17 here. 7 ohms. So it's going a little bit lower. Okay, here's the real test. 16. 15 is the real one. Ready? 15's no connect. There's no 15 on here. There's no... So wait, so does it go anywhere else? The breakout board is bad, no? Let me pour some IPA in the HDMI tester. Right, should we try it again then? Now that I've given it a clean with some IPA. Just want to see if that makes a difference. So let me try 15. There we go, 16. It was just flux. Okay, so now I can go back to the other board. I don't think there's going to be anything to test though, necessarily. Hey, 17's still fishy here. Tell you what I'll do then. I'll clean both with IPA just to make sure. Right, let me try now. 17. Oh, no way. No way. No way was it just flux. If it's because of that, I'll lose my head. I tried another TV. So the thought process would be it would be the actual port that was fluxy. But it doesn't make sense because if it was flux, how does that cause it not to display? There's other ground points on the port, so why would that ground point make the difference? Monitor might want that pin grounded. Yeah, exactly. Flux is non-conductive. So how does that make... Oh, I don't know. Okay, white light. Here we go. I need to do it 2 times, remember. First time, nothing. Second time. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. I spent a total of 5 hours rebuilding the whole HDMI circuit on this PlayStation 5, and you're telling me there was a bit of flux in the port. In the profit or loss, when I wrap up the video, I am going to say that obviously we've made a profit for the sake of profit or loss, but I want to give this away. I want somebody else to have it. And what I'm looking to do is give it to someone who's been a watcher for a while. Gary, I'll give you this PS5. It's only a digital, but I'll give you a PS5. If you're saying it's for your one of your kids, maybe it could be a little Christmas present or something. Now, it's obviously not the best condition, and it's had a lot of work to it. I told you guys, and I promised you this. I've said this for a very long time. If there is ever an opportunity for me to give some stuff away whilst I can, whilst I'm up, when I can, I will. Here we go, guys. There it is. That is this PS5 up, running and working. I can't believe it. I'm about to now go off and do some editing. So I don't think there's anything more to say about that really, other than to just head over to Sally's Spectacular Spreadsheet and work out the profit. Even though we kind of gave away the PS5, I still want to count this as a profit because we did end up fixing it. Whilst I'm here as well, I have also sold the disc PS5. This sold for £285, and in fact, after fees, etc., it was £282.25, giving us £163.26 in net profit on the PS5 from episode 10. We now have this digital PS5, which we can update. There won't be an eBay listing because we're giving it away. Cost was £101 for the port. And what I will say is that this one was a low firmware as well. So I expect to get a little bit more. Not as much as the 280, the same as the last PS5. I'd say maybe around the region of 260. But I'll meet in the middle at 250 just to be safe. 250 after the eBay fees and stuff as well. Minus the postage of next day delivery, it would have been. Is 131.01. This hours worked has actually gone up to 6. However, 163.26 in for this PS5, which gives us £65 an hour. And this one that we worked on for 6 hours over across 2 streams, 131.01. Means that it's still £21 an hour, which scores on the doors means we're absolutely flying. Estimated is 363.05, and the actual total profit we've made is £469.62. 11 episodes in and almost half the amount of profit that we made in season 1. I feel like we're going to get there very soon. Hit the thumbs up button if you enjoyed today's video. Definitely took an unexpected turn. Subscribe to the channel if you're new around here. I don't think we're going to hit 100,000 subscribers by the end of this year, but if you could support the channel by hitting that sub button, that would be appreciated. Have a great rest of your week, weekend, whatever it is for you, and I shall see you in the next one. Peace.